Hello everybody, welcome for being here. This is crazy. This is my first time ever I have Facebook Live right here, I have Instagram Live right here, and then I have my camera set up right here to record this. So I'm going to talk about how to quit your day job as I try to keep all of these connected and dive into to what's really important of quitting your day job. So it's good to see a lot of people joining in on Instagram, a lot of people joining in on Facebook as well, and then this video will be going up just to kind of give you guys an idea. There's a lot of things happening in this area. So I'm going to be talking about how to quit your day job because most people don't want to be in the rat race, and I'm someone who was in the rat race for a while, and I'm going to teach you how to get out of it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rob Dial. I am the founder of MWF Motivation, which is one of the top podcasts in the world, and so what I want to do is talk to you guys about how you can quit your day job, how you can ultimately live the life that you really want to live, because we do know that in reality, most of the people who work for somebody, you might be the one that worked for somebody and you absolutely hate your job. There's a lot of people out there that are in your situation. So I'm going to talk about how to quit your day job. Let me see what's going on with my Facebook Live here. And I'm going to talk about how to quit your day job because most people just don't want to be working for who they're working for. So let me make sure my internet connection is good, and then we're going to be talking about how you guys can quit your day job. If you don't have a pen and paper yet, do me a favor, grab a pen and paper, because ultimately, if you're going to sit through this, you might as well take some notes on it and learn from it as we're going through it. So let's see, my internet connection shows that it's strong, but for some reason it disconnected. So let me switch over to my 5G network. Also, if you are joining in right now on Instagram Live, let me know where you guys are coming from. So introduce yourself. Where in the world are you joining from? And let me know if this is your first time being on an Instagram Live, because this is my first time doing an Instagram Live. So I'm excited about diving into it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to try to go live again on Facebook here, and then we'll start. So looks like my internet connection might be stronger. 3, 2, 1. Cool. So hey from Ireland, good to see you. So we're going to dive into how to quit your job. Here's the first thing that I want you guys to realize is you have to think out of the box. And we're brought up in a way, it kind of sucks because we're brought up in a way to wake up and to go to work and start working for somebody else. And that's what we're taught to do. And you're supposed to get a day job. And you're supposed to, in order to get that day job, go to school for 18 years or 20 years or however long it is that you have to go to school to get that specific job. But what I want you to realize is it doesn't always have to be that way. The way that it is now is not the way that it has to be. And so I'm going to teach you guys how to start thinking out of the box, because I was in your situation, no matter who you are or where you are, I was in your situation of working for somebody. And I absolutely hated working for somebody. I felt like I was selling my soul in order to really just buy stuff. That's really what it was. And so the thing I want you to think about with working a day job is that you have to realize that working a day job is like being in a bad relationship. And you guys can let me know on Instagram and also on Facebook. Let me know if you have a job that you hate, or if you have had a job that you hate and you're wanting to, you have left, or you're wanting to leave the job that you're in, because I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. So I've worked jobs, and they weren't even bad jobs. I've had great jobs, but I just didn't feel fulfilled when I was in them. And I got this feeling inside of me all the time of, this is not the reason why I'm alive. I'm not alive so that I can waste my time working for some other company. I'm not alive. The reason why I have breath inside of me is not so that I can be productive doing something that I am not passionate about. And so you have to think outside of the box. And if you've ever been in a bad relationship, or you have a friend who's in a bad relationship, let's use your friend as an example, okay? Let's say your friend's in this bad relationship, and it's terrible, and everybody outside of the relationship can see how bad this relationship actually is, right? You're like, this, you need to break up with him, he's cheating on you, he doesn't treat you right, all of these things. And you can go over all of them and you know, they're like, no, he's changed, he's better, I promise he's better. And he's not. And that's exactly how the relationship is with working your day job and staying there. Is you're outside of the relationship and you're talking to your friend saying that relationship's terrible, you need to break up with him. And then she breaks up with him and she gets outside of the relationship. And once she's outside of it, she's like, holy crap, that was the worst relationship I've ever been in. I can't believe that I was doing that. You are somewhat in the bad relationship right now. You have to realize that. You're in a bad relationship with the way society's brought you up to be, the fact that you have to sell your soul away and work for a company that you really don't want to. You're in that bad relationship, and I've been there before. But once I quit my day job, hey, good to see you, John. There's a lot of people joining on Instagram. If you guys would do me a favor on Facebook and Instagram, click the share button and comment below. Let me know where you guys are all joining from and what your names are so I can get an idea of the audience here. But once you break out of the relationship, once I got outside of the box, I got outside of a day job, my immediate thought was, I can't believe that I wasted so much of my life, 40, 50, 60, up to 100 hours. I've worked up to 100 hours a week for a couple years of my life that I will never get back working a job that I hate or wasn't passionate about or didn't feel fulfilled, and I'll never get that time back. I'll never get that time back. I made money, sure. I bought a bunch of fun toys and things and all of those, but it wasn't fulfilling to me. And I want you guys to realize that in order to be truly fulfilled, you have to do something that you personally are passionate about. You have to do something where you feel like you are putting something out into the world. So let me know this, if you guys would on Instagram and Facebook as well, let me know what you guys are passionate about. If you could do anything in the world, let me know what you would be doing with your time. Anything in the world, what would you be doing with your time? Put it down below just so I can get an idea, because I want to know cool, I'm seeing some stuff pop up. What your main goal in life is, what you would prefer to do. If you could do anything in the world, what would you be doing? I'm going to go ahead and click share on Facebook right here. Boom. All right, shared it. So, let's talk about breaking up with your job that you don't like. Helping elderly people, helping others, interior decorating is what I see. Love to travel around the world, creating spaces. I love it. Writing poems and helping others. Here's the deal, guys. You have to realize this. All of these things that you're saying are all things that people used to do until the early 1900s, when the Industrial Revolution happened and we thought, we have to work for others. We have to do things for other people. We have to work for other companies, because these companies started growing to massive amounts and people stopped doing what they were passionate about. And when you're passionate about something and you're not tricked in the way society tries to trick you, what's up, Christina? If you're not tricked in the way society tries to trick you, you're able to do things that you're passionate about and figure out a way to still make money and survive. You're able to figure out a way to make money and survive. Now, that being said, you have to realize that society works in this way. Once you get out of the relationship, a lot of people say that you want to, it's cool. A lot of people are saying they want to travel and help others and do creative stuff and create different things, interior decorating, poems, create spaces, all of those things. But here's the thing. We're raised thinking that we have to do what society tells us to do, right? We have to go out and we have to work a job and suffer through that in order to be successful. And you can't suffer your way to success. But here's the thing that I want you to realize. You don't always have to work for somebody. If you hate your job, it doesn't always have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And also, if you're on Facebook and you haven't liked my Instagram is live. It is at MWF Motivation. And if you're on Instagram and you don't like my Facebook, it is facebook.com/MWF Motivation. So you guys can switch and you guys can follow me on both if you want. I got about 75,000 followers on Facebook and about 41,000 that are on Instagram. So I know that there's definitely some disconnects. So if you guys want to join those, you can. But the way that society used to work is, hey, I'll do this for you, you do this for me. That's how we get by, right? A bartering system is how it used to be. That's the way that always was the bartering system of, I'll give you some corn, you can go ahead and give me some rice, right? I'll be a farmer, I'll make corn, you could be a farmer, you make rice, we'll exchange them, and that's how we'll get by. But then the Industrial Revolution came, and people started working for machines. They started working for these large companies, and that's what they just did with their time and with their lives. And then what happened was, they got stuck all the time. They just kept getting stuck and getting stuck and getting stuck. And then what happened was this. TV came out. Well, actually first, radio came out. There was print magazines, and then there was radio, and then there was TV. And advertisements constantly told you that you were not enough until you bought their product. If I can give you some sort of secret, if you guys on Facebook and Instagram, I don't know if it's possible to share, but if you guys will share this link so that other people that you love will be able to see this, I would appreciate it if you would please share. Instagram, I'm not sure if you could share, but if you would share it as well, I would appreciate it. So just the way that it works in general is, I lost my spot exactly what I was talking about. Sorry. So John says cultural hypnosis. Correct. That is exactly right. Cultural hypnosis. Oh, so I was talking about advertisement. Sorry. So advertising. You have to realize with advertisements, they are designed. The best psychologists in the world are paid the most money by companies that are ad agencies or that have an ad agency like Coca-Cola or whatever it might be. And the point of it is this, is to make you feel inside like you are not enough until you buy the product that they have for you. You are not enough until you buy this new car. You're not enough until you buy this new TV. And I've been caught up in all of these things. I've been caught up in the rat race, and I've been caught up on I bought a new Audi a long time ago, and then that car crapped out. And so if you want to be fulfilled, you've got to do these things that fill you up. But when you buy something new, what are you actually buying that thing for? This is an interesting question because I want you to think of this. And this has to do with quitting your job, because what I want you to realize is if you do want to quit your job, you have to be okay with making a little bit less money at first sometimes. But in order to have less money, you need to spend less money. So if you can take yourself out of the mindset of I have to buy things all the time, then you're going to start spending less money. Ultimately, here's what we're looking for. What we're looking for is this. When we're going out and we're buying something, we're not actually buying that thing. What we're doing is we're buying the feeling that we hope that that thing will give us. Let me say that again. You're not buying the thing. You're buying the feeling that you hope that thing will give you. And this is why when you buy something, you're excited about it at first, but then what happens? 2 months down the road, you're like, I could, 6 months or a year down the road, new TV comes out, new iPhone comes out, a new car comes out. And what happens? That excitement for whatever that you had dies, and you don't really care about it anymore, and you want the new thing. So what are you buying? You're not actually buying the thing. You might be buying the car, but what you're trying to get from that car is the feeling that you hope that car will give you. So you're not actually buying a new car, you're buying the feeling that you hope that that car will give you. The crazy thing about that is this: you can create that feeling at any time. You can create that feeling at any time. Someone on Instagram just asked if I have a book. I do. If you go to mwfmotivation.com, you can actually get it there. It's free. You can download it. If you're on Instagram, you've never joined my podcast or my Facebook, I have tons of these that come out all of the time. What's up, guys? I can see a lot of people joining from Facebook. If you guys on Facebook would do me a favor and click the share button so that this can go into your friends' news feeds, I can see a lot of you guys that are joining in here. So go to my website, mwfmotivation.com, and you can download my book for free there. So Another thing about that is this. There's no reason to feel, and I'm going to bring up what might be a sore subject right now, because I originally wrote this podcast episode, which you guys, if you guys listen to my podcast, I originally wrote this episode about 6 months ago, and that's when it came out. But I talk about the president, and I want to tell you this, okay? The president is not in charge of your life. The president is not in charge of giving you jobs. So when people say, oh, the president needs to create more jobs, that's BS. The president does not need to create more jobs. People need to go out and create their own job. That's what needs to happen. That's the way that it used to be. You didn't wake up in the morning in the 1800s and say, oh, I hope that the president gives me a job today or raises the minimum wage or any of those things. No, what happens is this. You wake up and you are dependent on yourself. I had a conversation with my grandparents. I'm actually probably going to put it on my YouTube. It was about an hour and a half long conversation before they passed away. And my grandparents were together for 71 years, right? My grandfather passed away. He was 95. My grandmother passed away. She was 93. And they passed away 17 days apart from each other. Excuse me. They passed away 17 days apart from each other. And I had a conversation with them, and I was asked about the relationship. I was asked about growing up, what it was like when they were younger, all of these things that I've been curious of my whole life. And my grandmother brought up the Great Depression, and she remembers living through the Great Depression. And what she said was that when the Great Depression happened, nothing was done for them, right? Nowadays, it's the president has to raise the minimum wage. The president has to give us jobs. The president and Congress have to do this for us and this for us and this for us. And they have to make sure that if we lose our job, we get unemployment. And if we're older, we get Social Security and all of these things. That's the way that it is nowadays. We're reliant. We're taught to be reliant on them. But back then, my grandma said that when the Great Depression happened, nothing happened for them. The president did not give them anything. They did not get Social Security. They did not get support. They did not get minimum wages, any of those things. My great-grandfather owned a shoe shop, and he also owned a grocery store. And during the Great Depression, both of them went out of business. And so he said, all right, the government is giving me absolutely nothing because that's just the way that it was. What can I do to make sure that my family survives? She was one of 5 kids. How can I make sure that my family survives? And so what he did, thank you everybody for sharing. I can see that you're sharing. Nathan, thank you for sharing. Please click share if you are now joining in. But what my grandfather did to make sure that he survived, my great-grandfather did to make sure that he survived during the Great Depression, and his family did as well. There was an empty lot in their neighborhood, and what he did, he had never gardened a day in his life, is he decided, well, I've got to feed my family. I'm going to figure out how to become a gardener. And he took a lot and turned it into a garden. And then what happened? The neighborhood came through, and everybody else started planting all of their things. And what did they do? They built this huge garden, and that's how they survived. That's the way that it used to happen. It wasn't the government that would come through. So he would garden every single morning, and he would garden every single night. And during the day, what he would do is he would take his little boat. He ended up buying a boat with the little bit of money that he had, and he learned how to fish. So he had never fished or gardened a day in his life. And what happened during the Great Depression? He learned how to become a gardener and learned how to become a fisherman. And that's what he did in order to make sure that his family survived. It's important for you to realize that. You are in charge of your day job. If you don't like your day job, quit it. Just quit. Do something else. You'll figure it out. But you have to take control. And the perfect example of hustle is this. My great-grandfather during the Great Depression, he figured out a way to make it happen. He hustled. If you came to the point where you didn't have a job, or you came to the point where there was no money coming in, you would figure it out. You would hustle and you would figure out a way to make money and to be successful. And what I want you to realize is that's the point that you need to get to again. Not being self-reliant, or not being reliant on the government or the president or Congress or any of those things, but being reliant on yourself. Self-reliance is what needs to come from it. learning how to grind again, learning how to hustle, learning how to say, you know what? I will follow my passion. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, I'll eventually figure out how I'm going to make money, right? Not having a source of income coming in is not the end of the world. I'm going to say that again. Not having an income coming in is not the end of the world. You're not going to die if your income doesn't come in. You're not going to die. You'll figure it out. But what is worse? Let me ask you guys this. And if you guys would do me a favor on Facebook, I can see a lot more people joining. Please click the share button. I would appreciate it if you would, so that everybody in your news feed could get some of this information to them, because ultimately I want everybody to get out of the rat race, because once I got out of it and realized how terrible of a situation it was, I realized, holy crap, I don't have, I mean, it's right now it's 12:30 on a Tuesday. This is like, I normally would be at a job working right now. That's what I would be doing. So you have to realize, for all of you guys, that it's the exact same thing. If you're working a day job that you hate, you don't have to be there forever. Start figuring out and making a plan to get out of it. Right? If you're stuck there right now because you have things, I like to call them the golden handcuffs. The golden handcuffs are debt, right? Having student loans, having car payments, having a house, a mortgage that you have to pay. Those are the golden handcuffs. It's harder to leave a job and follow your passion when you have debt. If you have debt, welcome to the society trap. That's where they want you to be. But it doesn't have to be that way forever. You can start working at night and start working on the weekends and start doing things in order to make money that is not working for somebody else. Here's the other crazy thing about it. If you work for somebody else, there's a pretty good chance that debt is not going to go away very quickly. When you start working for yourself, that's when you can really start making big strides and big differences in how much money is coming in your life. That's when you can really start saving money and become wealthy. People that are the wealthiest are people that work for themselves. So the golden handcuffs are working for somebody else. I know you don't want to work for somebody else the rest of your life. I know that you have stuff that you're passionate about and things that you want to do, and you have things that would fulfill you more than working for somebody else or doing whatever it is that they're doing. I know that you have those things in your life. But why aren't you following them? Well, number one, it could be fear. Fear could be holding you back. That's usually what holds people back a lot, is fears. And number two is the golden handcuffs, the debt. Those things will all hold you back. But it doesn't have to be that way forever. If you're not going to quit your day job today, start making a plan to quit your day job. Because it doesn't have to be that way forever. You don't have to work your day job forever. From the beginning, if you guys weren't here in the beginning, you didn't listen. Not that you didn't listen, you just weren't here, so you couldn't have heard it. Being in society and working in the rat race is like being in a bad relationship. You don't realize how big it is or how bad it is until you get out of it. And then you get out of it and you're like, what the hell have I been doing, wasting so much time? Right? And some people get out of a bad relationship and they're like, why did I waste 2 years of my life with that crazy nutcase? Right? When you get out of the rat race, you're like, why did I waste 15 years of my life, or 20 years, or 30 years, or 5 years, or whatever it is? It's even longer. But if you could start making the decision that I'm going to figure out how to get out of this rat race, I'm going to figure out what I can do to get out of it. If you can start thinking that way and start deciding that, all right, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this job that I hate. I'm going to get rid of this boss that I hate that tells me to do things I don't want to do. I'm going to get rid of this stupid story that I'm telling myself. Hey, John, good to see you. I'm going to get out of this stupid story that I'm telling myself of how I have to keep buying things and that I have to keep staying in this. It's so hard to explain when you're out of it, but it's the exact same situation of trying to tell your friend, break up with him because he's a freaking a-hole. Right? And she's like, no, but I love him and all of these things. And then she gets out and she realizes he's crazy. That's the exact same way that it works with what you're doing now. You have the advertisements that you hate that tell you that you're not enough. And you have to ignore them so that you can have the life that you want to. You have the debt that's holding you back and all of the different things and ways that you are coerced into thinking that you have to have these things. You have to buy new things. You have to go and you have to buy the new house, or you have to get in more debt, or put things on credit cards. Those are the golden handcuffs. And once you start to realize, take yourself outside of the society trap and think about it. Why do they want me to keep buying stuff? Why do they want me to keep going in debt? Why do they want me to keep feeling like I'm not enough? And the reason why is to spend, 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 spend. That's all that it is. And so what does this have to do with leaving your day job? Well, what you do is once you break free of realizing you don't have to buy all of those things and you don't have to stay in that bad relationship, you start to realize I can get by with a lot less money than I thought I could. You know, and some people are like, well, it's hard to downgrade. Once you get used to a certain size house, and then we can all admit that, you know, some of us have houses or apartments that are nicer than we need. And we're pushing you're pushing yourself to spend more money on something when you could downgrade. Most people are not willing to take a step back in their life, in everything that they do, and how much they spend in their lifestyle more than anything else. Most people are not willing to take a step back in order to take a massive step forward. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to stop spending money in certain ways. You have to maybe trade in your car and get a cheaper car for a little while. If you want to know me, I used to drive, when I was 21, I bought an Audi, right? It was a dumb decision, but I did it. And it was cool for a little while, and then it broke down all of these things. I personally still drive what I call the soccer mom van. I drive a 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe. Could I buy a new car? Yeah, of course I could. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. And that's what you have to realize. I still get the feeling driving down the road sometimes where I see a Tesla and I'm like, yeah, I really want to buy a Tesla, right? I could buy a Tesla right now if I wanted to. But I have to get the feeling of I see a Tesla and I'm like, but do you need it? I want it. Sure, I want it. It's just those feelings. But do I need a Tesla? No, I don't necessarily need a Tesla. So what am I going to do? Wait until that thing craps out, and then I'll eventually figure out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to drive my light blue 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe until that thing explodes, and then I'll figure it out. But once again, though, the golden handcuffs are making you feel like you need the next car, making you feel like you need the bigger house, or you need to get the nicer things, or you need to get the new phone, or you need to get the new computer, or you need to get the new TV. And when you take yourself out of that thought process, everybody, if you would do me a favor, I can see a lot more people are starting to join on Facebook. If you guys would do me a favor and click the share button, I would appreciate it. But if you can get yourself out of that mindset of, okay, I don't need the new car. I don't need the new house. I don't need the new phone. I don't need the new TV or computer or all of those things. I don't need the new camera, all of those things. If you can get yourself out of the mindset of needing those things, you'll start to be a lot happier, and you'll be able to take a step back, maybe in your lifestyle, or maybe and also going out to eat is another one of the things. You don't have to go out to eat all the time. But if you could take a step back in your lifestyle, or if you could take a step back in all of those things that you feel like you need to buy, stop buying. If you could stop buying less things, or if you could stop buying new toys, and realize that those are the golden handcuffs that keep you in the society trap of working a job that you hate and just producing. You were not born to just produce for a machine over and over and over and over and over again. You were not born to produce for a machine. So how do you follow your passion? How do you keep going for it? Well, what you do is you realize, all right, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to actually go after what it is that I really want. I'm going to get a smaller house, or I'm going to trade in my car that's I'm spending way too much money on. I'm going to see that I have a phone that works and I don't have to buy the new one. I don't have to buy the new TV or do all of those things. I'm going to realize that in order to take a step back, in order to follow my passion, I need to take a step back, cut my budget down, cut down things that I spend my money on, stop being tricked by society of needing to buy these things, and realize that I'm going to start working for something that I'm passionate for. I'm going to start doing things that I want to do and take a step back and realize that I don't need to buy all of these things in order to make myself feel whole. I don't need to buy all of these things because ultimately what you're doing is you're buying the feeling that will get you. If you're just joining in on Facebook, if you do me a favor and click share. But what I said earlier is that what you're trying to do, when you buy something, you're actually not buying the thing. What you're doing is you're buying the feeling that you hope that thing will give you. Right? You're not buying the car. You're buying the feeling that you hope that car will give you. And then 6 months or a year down the road, the car doesn't give you that feeling anymore. So you have to get the new one. It's like a drug. You have to get the new car, new phone, the new TV, new thing, any of those things. You have to get all of the new things. And what happens is you keep spending money and you keep spending money. And in order to keep spending money, you have to keep producing. You have to keep working for the machine. And so the way to break out of the rat race is to start getting your mind outside of the rat race and realize you don't have to be there. You don't have to waste your life doing something that you hate. Most people spend most of their working hours doing something they don't want to do. That's crazy. Most people spend most of their time working a job or working for somebody or doing things they don't want to do. You get to live once. That's it. As best as we know, you get one shot at this. Do you want to waste most of your life doing something that you don't enjoy or something that you hate? You got to ask yourself that question and start to become really real with yourself. Do you want to do that forever? Do you want to be that way forever? I would say probably not. That would be the guess that I would get from you, is that you probably don't want to do that forever. And so in order to do that, the question that you want to ask yourself is, what do I need to do right now in order to start making plans to leave the rat race? If money meant nothing to me, what would I be doing with my time? If you're on Facebook, do this for me real quick. If money were no object, please answer this. I'm curious. If money were no object, how would you spend your time? What would you be doing with your time? If you had all of the money in the world, what would you be doing with your time? What are your passions? What are the things that you're interested in? Let me know. What are the things that you're most interested in? And I'll wait for you guys to start commenting because there's a little bit of a delay. Oh, looks like somebody already put something. John says writing. Cool, so keep putting your stuff down. I'm curious. Put down below what you guys would be doing. Because here's the thing that's sad. I see people all day and I talk to people all the time, and it seems like most people just are not happy with where they are in their life, or they're not happy with what they do with their day job, or they're not happy with what they do day in and day out. And it doesn't have to be that way forever. And I want you guys to realize that it doesn't have to be that way forever. You can break out of this. Nathan says franchise a basketball gym. It's awesome. What else would you guys do? Let me know. I'm curious to know what everybody would want to do, because it's hard to explain what it's like to be outside of the rat race. But once you get out of it, you look in and you're like, man, I can't believe I did that for so long. And so Samantha says cooking amazing food and seeing the world. Love it. I love it. So there's definitely a few things. What else should you guys be doing? I can see, don't be shy. I could see that there's much more people on here than are answering. So I know that you guys you're being shy, but let me know what you would be doing with your life if money were no object. Let me know what your passions are. Pat says build a house off the grid on renewable energy. That's awesome. Where would it be? That's the question. Would you put it way out in the country, or would it be in the middle, where your house is right now, but it's just, it would be renewable energy from that house? That's the question I have for you. What else are you guys' passions? Put it up there so I can see what all of your passions are. Let me know what you would be doing if you quit your day job, or, if you were able to do. I'm guessing that's Washington. So cool. So that's the thing that I have for you guys I want you to think about. Also, if you guys have not joined one of my webinars, if you look up above here, there's a link to my webinar. You can join my webinar, which is free on Thursday. I'll be teaching the keys to make 2017 the best year of your life. And also, if you guys are interested in what I call group coaching, which is taking your life to the next level and more of an advanced lesson than just what I teach right here, and the keys to really taking a step forward, and there's quite a few people that are in this right now that I can see that are in my group coaching, but in order to take a step forward, sometimes you need extra coaching to do it. And so the question that I have for you is, if not now, then when? And if you are looking for a little extra motivation, a little bit of extra of a push, you can see that my email is above. Send me an email, rob@mwfmotivation.com. Let me know if you're interested in group coaching, and we can talk about it. So I appreciate you being here on Facebook. I appreciate you being here on Instagram. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I appreciate you being here on YouTube as well. So if you'll do me a favor, click the share button, just so, if you got something from this, I'm sure there's somebody in your newsfeed that would be able to get something from this as well. So I appreciate you guys, and I hope that you all have an amazing day.